Essentials, ETF2L, Nations Cup, Turbotabs, BenPL, Samus, Sweden versus Turkey. I'm using a lot of less words than I usually use, BenPL, because the players are ready and they don't have time to waste. My God, have you ever seen such a sight?
It's literally not even 21:15 and they're ready. So yeah, I think we can. If there's 12 in server, I guess we can go pretty quick. But yeah, the less we talk, the better, right? There's as you say, Sweden playing against Turkey. And this is a big game, right? Like in the couple of minutes, you want maybe lag time before the game starts. We're gonna have a bit of a quick little talkment about like what to
All right, the
expect.
tiniest tournament, but I swear to God, if this tournament's larger than the tournament, I'm going to be upset. So obviously, yeah, you're right. We've got Sweden versus Turkey. Sweden's always been a powerhouse of that Nations Cup from day one, or should I say, like, version 1 of the Nations Cup. We're on version 10 right now. But you're right, Turkey is turning into a little bit of a powerhouse because you've got some recognizable names here on this roster, Ben.
Yeah, there's a couple of good ones. Pandemic, I guess, is the most recent one that's going to scream out to a lot of names. There's a recent Prem winner back in the autumn season, back with TLR, and yeah, plenty of these players have been up and around those higher divisions. Yalin was in Prem as well, I believe, recently.
Correct.
But yeah, both these teams have like on. They're not quite on full points because they've had like golden caps and such, but they're the top two teams in their group. Both beaten Austria, both beaten Ukraine. I guess technically, I think Turkey got a default against Ukraine, but they're both flying clear, and they want to get that top seed to go through, right, to avoid the really super strong teams that might be coming through as top seeds.
But to do that, they have to get past what I think is going to be a really strong team in this Nations Cup. And that's the one with the player of the season, or at least the last ETF2L season, sitting on it. Boulder is there, waiting terrifyingly in the wings. And he's not alone. He's got his boys, Grix, Alba, Jorn, Hugie, and Gar as well, hanging about with him. And yeah, these are all names I recognize. And if I recognize them, that's a bad situation for Turkey.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Boulder, of course, is the one again from last season who's going to shine out. But there's plenty of players here with recent Prem experience, recent LAN experience in the likes of in like Alba as well. Had a pretty good showing over in Poland. But this is a star-studded roster over from Sweden, and like you say, they've been consistently a super strong nation in TF2 for what's this now, like 15, 16 years since the first Nations Cup?
Yeah, 16 years basically. I'm pretty sure they've. I'm sure there's going to be some one wild or two sort of times that they may have got knocked out just because they got a bit lazy with the Nations Cup. But no, this has always been a staple. I swear, I used to say to people, Swedes were born with a mouse in their hands because they were just so good at the game from the get-go. So I've got high expectations for them. But, Turkey, they've proved themselves in their group so far, kind of going blow for blow. So let's see what they have to cook up against the powerhouse.
Yeah, well, we'll see what they've got to deal with us here over on Process, because that's our first map. So what do you think is going to go down on Process? Who do you think might have the upper hand, as we're actually going live pretty soon, so make it quick.
I think it's going to kind of come down to whether or not how comfortable Hugie is going to be on this this Demoman class, because keep in mind he's usually a scout player as well, so this transition from all hit scan to all projectile might be a bit wild for him. Look, he's already messed up the rollout.
Yeah, not to be too quick over there, but neither side really flying straight out of the gates, going for anything too crazy on this first mid, as BWT going to jump all the way around. Never mind the two soldiers from the Turkey side bombing straight over the point, landing in, doing a lot of damage. Hugie's gone down. Like we mentioned, might be the case, as Droppers had to force out all the way back. He's just about stayed alive for now, but the Swedes are going to be up in terms of players and up in terms of space too, meaning the Turks are going to have to run all the way back out onto their own second point, but only one player advantage, and spawners coming in. Going to be perhaps kind of hard to get any further with this.
Yeah, it was fortunate that Boulder kept himself alive during all of that initial aggression from the two soldiers of Turkey. Yarlin was making it a pain by keeping himself alive at that choke area and disconnecting the medic as well from the rest of them. But Gar, whilst disconnected, did not die, so it does give a bit of high hopes for them to kind of continuate and not get this midpoint flip-flop, because Turkey Ella managed to keep himself alive as well.
Yeah, well, we'll see what the Sacks have got to offer. The Scar going to be jumping, or Grix, excuse me, is going to be jumping in through that right-hand side of Sewer. We're just going to fake it out and back out. Takes a lot of spam, but there's not the Sack opportunity ready. I believe Yorn is waiting in the wings over here in IT, potentially going to go for some sort of pressure, but no, it seems like the focus of the action is over on this Sewer side. See if they can just poke and prod, maybe land one stray pipe, one stray rocket over towards the direction of a demo of a medic, but alright, that's a pretty decent shot.
Yeah, Grix being the first foot through the door, and usually the first foot in the door gets bruised by the door, and it slammed all the way. He went down. But this is fine. A death for the cause is you have to kind of scramble a couple of eggs just to make this omelette of a second point happen, and it's just really... Yeah, Scout does get behind, and he's going to have that health pack area. That's going to be a bit of an annoyance, I would say, for Team Turkey, whilst Albert is... doesn't seem like the most threatening person on the planet. Just the sheer option that he's got 3 doors behind to choose from and kind of come in with. They exchange the Ubers, actually. It's a Boulder specialty on this second point as he just wants to multi everybody. Albert finally comes in behind. There's that surprise that they were banking on. And from this point henceforth, the Swedes just kind of dominate the rest of this point. They do have to defend this point initially from these 3 combat classes, but the longer this fight is drawn out, the easier it's going to be. Oh, but they do manage to focus the right target. The Meg going down was what was important to Team Turkey in this moment, because that's the one that wins the war and not so much the battle here, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. 3v3 with the medic advantage. Yes, there's a heal advantage, but in the instantaneous moment, you've got to deal with essentially a 3v2 in terms of combat classes. And yeah, they just couldn't get Gara into choke fast enough. But really nice recollapse there from those last 3 remaining Turkish players, as they are going to give up the second point. But this could have been so much worse had they not got over onto Gar. And now what, 50% ad? Like, on your own last, obviously not ideal, but like they were potentially facing big disad.
Yeah, this is, again, not the worst situation in the world. It was quite impressive to see that they got all their respawners in time overall. I think because they capped the second point during all that chaos, and maybe those forwards were coming in for Team Sweden to kind of actually hold on to the second point as well. So it is a different ball game, at least for Team Turkey right now. I think Sweden is expecting them to push out with the Uber charge, but they have no idea or have no hopes of that over on Team Turkey. They are just building up for a last.
Yeah, it's a dangerous one, right? Yes, there is an ad, but pushing out of last week just ad, it can go wrong in so many different ways. And yeah, I respect the decision. Like it's a risk to push out, and if you don't want to take that risk, like that's a valid choice. But it does mean that you get left in this even Uber situation, and the Swedes realizing now they're getting the Uber charge up of their own. They know that they can potentially start looking to poke and prod in through lobby, in through 2, as well as Yalen takes quite a chunk of damage as they're taking lobby. Going to try and get set up, see who's going to be the first one to try and maybe work something in the gun, maybe the primary target. Actually, never mind, they've lost their demo man.
Yeah, Hugi's going to go down to the Pandemic Sniper. I think it's a very popular spot for usually a soldier to kind of peek his head around and go for some sort of pick play, but so Pandemic realizing that. He's going to go a bit more brave. He's looking through 1 right now to see if he can get a bonus frag. He has got his buddy Yarlin helping him out, or is Pandemic helping Yarlin out? He's going to go down, and the bodyguard even fails his job. He loses his sniper, and now with 2 soldiers on the prowl, the medic went down there to a trap.
This is absolute pandemonium on this last point. Absolute chaos.
Boulders kill PWT on the flank.
There's only 3 players up.
The sentry's gone down to the pistol, and the soldier spam as well. I don't know which team has it worse right now.
Yeah, like the spawners are just here in time, I think, for Turkey, but that was so rough potentially. Like, even though the drop comes through, there's only 3 players alive, and with the gun just about living for long enough to delay that cap from coming through. It was precarious times, and now the push out finally going to come in, but Dropper there on the low ground trying to get in. There's a soldier, there's someone going behind Alba thinking about going for a back cap, but I'm not sure if anything's going to come to fruition on that. We're going to just fight Pandemic instead, wins the fight against Pandemic, and again it's 3 down.
Yeah, that was very nice play coming out from Alba as well. That kind of made the soldier sort of committal on number 1. So it was a very multi-layered there. Okay, they popped off Uber just to kind of keep things solidified over on this last point. But keep in mind, Gar doesn't actually have the Uber charge right now. So this is all a pretty good victory for Team Sweden. The only hopes for Turkey have now is they take that player advantage and push out second with it. Yeah,
but Gar's going to have in about another 5 or 10 seconds here. It's going to be kind of rough in this post.
It's certainly going to be 10 seconds if he doesn't heal anybody. Good God, Gar.
More than 10 seconds at this point, yeah. They don't do any forward spawns though, right? That's the crucial thing, is that point just takes so long to cap up that Yeah, despite they get it eventually. They don't do any forward spawns. This push can come straight in. Looks like this player's pushing in from all angles.
The flank has got their number though. They've oh god, they got 3 kills off of the flank alone against Team Turkey, and now they can just get in for last for free. Sure, they're capping up second right now, but they're going to feel a lot of pressure by not having any sort of defenses to be able to set up, and the medic goes down. Every single possible hope has been killed off, and Team Sweden take their point.
Honestly, I think that's a pretty big blunder from the Turkish side, right? Losing 3 players on that hold. Like, they didn't have to delay for that long. At the end, their dropper dies on 90% Uber in that final fight when they run onto the point. Like, if you can just literally delay for 5 seconds and just get out or just spam a little bit, but do it in a safe way that you're not losing players, maybe they could get an Uber charge up to defend that last point. But that's not the way in Sweden. They're getting their first round of the board, and they're coming out swinging on this next mid fight.
All right, so we're actually rotating sides, switching sides on the for both team squads. So that does mean that whoever loses this is going to lose hard. There's no back out options for either team. You could do something sly by start capping the point and then kind of front that cap them in a way. They already start off strong by taking out Pandemic. That's a scout down for them, and PWT does take out the Demo Man. That is feels pretty nice, but without your own Demo Man, I don't think it really feels like an advantage at this point. It just feels like you've exchanged even Stevens, and Alba coming in for the huge flank. They're all distracted. This is going to be quite the crunch, and the medic gets taken out. Tuna is the only one surviving here, but he will go down for the cause, and the only hope you have is the fact that they took a while to do this, Ben.
Yeah, it's a rough one to stomach, right? Losing a medic so late like that, but it's the risk with these rotational mids. If you do get caught an enemy second and it's going worse for your team, you are in so much danger. And again, there, Dropper pays the price, gets caught out by that flank coming in.
Pandemic does go sniper. I don't know what he expected. I think that was realistically the only play they could have made, and he pushed IT to counteract this issue of the sniper going into second, and he immediately gets jumped as well. So he probably should have heard that rocket jump coming in. They Ubering in though. There's no time to waste. Boulder already on his way to the sentry gun, and they finally take out the sentry gun now, but it allows the soldiers to roam free and roam strong as they get a kill on the initial Demo Man. So there's no sticky pressure for this last point, and it's a bit sticky. Everyone's managed to keep their skirmishers alive. They do lose Turkey on the backside though, so no medic to kind of push out with, but Gar all the way back at second, or even mid I should say.
Yeah, that was not exactly clean. I've got to say that Uber came across the point and they got into the gun eventually, but it's always awkward, right? When you still got people capping second when the Uber's coming in, that you can't play the point straight away. It's just about looking in those spawns, and they just couldn't quite manage it for long enough. And I've got to say the Turkish players, they did really well of just sort of staying out, dragging the Uber charge around and just buying the time for those important respawners to come in. And now they're reaping the rewards with at least some space in onto second, capping it up with a slight distance, like you say, with Gar getting out alive. But so it might just come down to these DM fights. There's fights brawling all over the place. Looks like IT is the current point of contention here for the Turks, but they've managed to be staved off there. Alba just going to get out alive, take the pack, and just build out this last small bit of advantage, because there's about 20% here. If they're aware of this, this is maybe workable.
I know what, I'm going to do a Caster's debut, and I'm going to actually, instead of complaining about some of these players, I'm going to do some light glazing. I swear Alba's been doing a fantastic job this game. He seems to be just doing really smart scout play, and I've been a huge fan of. Speaking of huge, Hughie is jumping in high in the sky. They force the Uber charge out, but they will lose that poor Demo Man, what feels like the 17th time in this game now. And the flank not really making much of a play during this. Yorn was in a hiding spot, but will be spotted out, and Alba's keeping himself alive instead of joining his compadre on the flank. And it's turned to a seesaw game with 2 down and no Demo Man. This is going to be a very hard mid to hold. I don't know why Grix is hanging about, and I don't know why Alba is trying to save his friend as well. He's going to go down as well. It's save your friend syndrome, and there's no friends in Team Fortress 2, Ben.
Absolutely not, and especially not when they're 2 down as well. Gonna get forward spawns denied on those as well. Boulder almost getting caught out too on the way back out of 1. And I guess the saving grace now for the Sweezy is still even Ubers. They're gonna get their couple of spawners in the last. They've got a heavy up already. They can slow the pace now, but that was a rapid fire couple of points going the way of the red there. And with that momentum, like they could be looking good.
Alright, and the bet setting up Sentry Gun as well. They actually have kept the pressure up. PWT managing to find that that Sentry Gun, and they just rebuild it, and they just destroy it again. But during all this, God, this Demo Man, Hughie, is just keeps going down, Ben. It's really unusual to see in a game of Team Fortress 2.
Yeah, it's been being caught out quite a few times, and on a last point like this, it's a big deal. Losing your demo man means there's obviously doors you can't trap, you can't buy the space, but trading out frags, Grix and PWT going down means that, again, it's just getting so scrappy, and they don't really want to like just sort of do the standard like, sit and sack. They just want to go in and use straight in onto the heavy. They do, as Ubercharge has traded that. I'm not sure Pandemic's getting out of this one.
Oh my god, tractor beam!
The ceiling!
Pinning him down! Nail him to the fridge. Okay, alright, so Griggs comes back to the world of the living, and now he can kind of have some input on this defense on last. They do have this red demo man being a pest though, and just lobbing the odd sticky to maybe pressure that point, but they decide, they do a head count and realize they don't really have enough people to complete this push. They back out here.
Yeah, again, it's those like scrappy situations post Uber. It's I don't know. We had to just slow down and think, right, head count, what's happening? How healthy are we? Just like have a look, because in those chaotic moments where there's people being pinned to the skybox, there's Ubers flying around, people coming constantly in and out of respawns. It's sort of hard to keep tabs on what's happening. But they decided, you know what, we're just gonna rebuild back up, and again, Uber's gonna be pretty much completely even because of that trade that occurred over in 5 previously, but. We'll see now. Are they just going to go in for some sort of like chaos play like last time, or are we going to see something potentially a bit more standard?
Well, this is a lot more standard regular TF2. They even moved the sentry gun forward, dispensers being built up. Boulder even had a quick check of any off classes, but there is no shenanigans happening on Team Turkey. So I'm very interested to see how they cook up something on Team Turkey. This is usually where teams that haven't played much together might get a bit caught out, because these are usually sort of flavorless affairs. You know, usually you kind of think to yourself, okay, who's a good sniper on my team? What kind of plays have we got? Do I feel like my soldiers are confident making jumps on against sentry guns? Instead, they just go for pressure onto the sentry gun, force that out, and then see if they can force the medic, but doesn't work out across the board.
Yeah, it was good coordination there just to get the gun down, but Yalin jumping in through 5 there, it's always a really tough one to do, especially when there's a scout who's there at the perfect time, like in super close proximity. But Yalin's going to use the opportunity to go up and snipe. You said before, like, it's the you look at who's good in the off classes, who's confident on what, and Yalin just thinks, you know what, maybe the sack isn't. It's just like, you know what, I'll go for some speculative sack. If it works, great. If not, well, I could just use the opportunity to go back to the respawn room and come back on the sniper. Yeah,
they should see this coming though. Boulder is literally waiting in the wings, and finally we'll go sniper now to go for a counter sniper. I like this play, even if the snipers might be a bit outmatched to one another. The sniper does always feel that pressure, you know, just with another one on board. It's kind of like another step added to deal with before they can unlock. And oh my god, he's made his presence known. Boulder starts with a soldier pick. So now looking 5 versus 5 on these two teams. And yeah, let's see who kind of manages to fish just that little bit better here, Ben.
Yeah, there was a good opportunity as well. It's a really important kill, getting that sniper kill, that soldier kill, excuse me, over towards 5, because with the soldier down on your own side as well, like that gun is so vulnerable to getting spammed out, and then the sacks can come rolling in. But really important shot there from Boulder, able to sort of pull that before it got going. But actually, Boulder won't be doing many more of those for a moment, because Boulder's been taken down in the sniper v sniper, and now this really could open the doors. Yeah,
you have to really lean on your soldiers at this point there to keep jumping these doors. They force pressure onto Yarlin. Doesn't go down, but does get booted out of that doorway. And Gar can feel a big sigh of relief, exiting his lungs now. And well, let's see if they can get from 1 instead, but Hughie on the job, on the case, actually coming to his team as well, where this sniper is heading and going, and this Yarlin's actually going out from 2nd. He's actually just chilling back, all the way back. What do they want to happen?
Well, there's 35 seconds left, so if they want something to happen, it's going to have to happen quick, because they've still got a sniper. It's even Ubers. There's a full setup with gun, sniper, everything you'd want on that last point, so it's going to be a really hard one to get in. And I think they can probably go for some sort of trade, right? But like with a sniper up, it's not exactly ideal.
Okay, so the Uber, oh my god,
they lose demo.
Yeah, Demir goes down immediately, and with no demo, this push is rip, and the medic is rip. This round is rip. It's 6 seconds. Everyone's rip.
Yeah, the one like good thing I guess even Turkey is that nobody actually had any cap time on that 2nd point, because you're really thinking there that if the Swedes could get someone onto that 2nd point, there's 3 players down, they've just got no Uber charge, like there's a chance that a push out could get going. But not to be, as we go back to a round reset, back to the mid fight. And still 1 round up for the Swedes. We saw that really fast turn of pace from the Turks, going like almost fully coast to coast, but Other than that, when things slowed down, they struggled, and we'll see how they go on this next mid.
It is pretty funny seeing these modern demo men when they turn up to mid and stand perfectly still because they're waiting for their crossbows, but now things get firing out of the gate, so they trade a piece, but this time it's a scout for a soldier, so I do kind of prefer Turkey's odds in this point. They immediately rotate round and kind of all in at this poker table. And it's now down to the next 5v5 fight. They're going to get respawners coming in, keep in mind. So, and I kind of bank that the soldier coming back. Yeah, and Boulder going down as well. Grix tries to do something in all the sort of chaos, and the only person that's left alive needs to hit the kill bind just to join the rest of his team on that same sort of respawn circuit. That's Gar. And yeah, well played from Turkey. Getting that scout pick early on always feels stronger than losing that soldier.
Particularly about like Prost as well, right? There's like such an open view over the entire place. You can be chipping people all over the place, and yeah, such a great mid for the scout.
We're in.
Is it going to be a good last point for this Ubercharge coming in? Gun dealt with already. Soldiers trying to bomb in and defend this. The heavy up in panic room doing a lot of work over there on Boulder. As the bombs come in, everyone's trying to pressure onto this heavy and onto this medic, but they're somehow still living. And the Ubercharge push might just be getting staved up. PWT still up in panic room, dodging, ducking and diving, but going to be taken down by that scattergun of Boulder coming back up onto the scout. And what a hold. Only one frag going the way of Turkey in that push.
Yeah, Hugi was pivotal there. Not only was he getting stickies on that point, but he was kind of restocking them as well. The pandemic was like, I can play this point play if I just keep shooting the stickies away, but he just kept replacing them one after the other, ever so annoying. And then they wasted the majority of the Uber just kind of trying to clear that trap. And Boulder also did a very nice job on the heavy weapons guy, kind of dishing out the damage, but also leaving at the right time as well to kind of sustain his life. He just did mindlessly take a 1v1 with the soldier.
Yeah, and it's because of course his push outs come so quick, and it's been clean into mid so far over on the Swedish side, means that there is still some Uber advantage over for the Swedish side, and I think they know it. They're already pressuring in onto second.
I'm shocked that they're not using it, to be honest. Maybe they think it's a lot closer than it actually is, but yeah, I don't see what's the point of getting greedy at this point. It's nice to kind of pressure out a team, even if you get them out of the point and they still hold on to their Uber. You don't really want to push out with Uber charge, so it feels almost like a really advantageous time to use your Uber advantage, but they decide against it. They want to go slow and greedy, it seems, or at least picture perfect, and it's just not perfect. They back out.
Yeah, to be fair, I think that advantage might have been because on the previous last push, I think the medic and scout got separated on the way out, so I think it was because of like a not beaming rather than it was literally just they spawned later, so it might have been a hard one to calculate. Obviously, if you've not got the Solemn Vow or you don't get like that line of sight onto the medic, it can be hard to notice those things. But again, for the Swedish, it's not the end of the world, right? They're still a round up. They're sat in a comfortable position, sat outside enemy second. They've got a sniper. They're really just showing an intention to slow the game down if they can and just see what works.
Yarlin, no. Yarlin, no. Oh, thank goodness. I thought the stickies would have got him there. He's very low, though. He needs a crossbow, and Boulder might be able to spot him in time. They're pressuring him with the
the drop!
Oh, the drop on Turkey. He pops his head out to help his poor boy, and his poor boy has killed him.
Oh, absolutely, the bait there. Just trying to wait for the arrow, and honestly, great game sense there over from the sniper on the Swedish side. Great work, and now going to be potentially around on a platter. Medic only just respawning over on the red side, meaning the Swedes now big advantage. We saw Turkey just fumble one of these moments ago, and we're flipping the other way around now. Will Hughes be able to get it done? Will Bold be able to get it done? As Ubercharge used in gun down already, we've seen this before. The clean will be good.
Have you noticed they're not going for the point? They're actually going for kills immediately out of the gate. They immediately switch sides, not even humouring the point. And look at all the damage that they're reconnecting on their flank as well. They even give the Minecraft pickaxe to that poor diamond and the rough Turkey Ellie. Oh dear, it's the second round on the board for Sweden, and it's only 9 minutes left. I think this might be GG in this sort of situations of TF2.
Yeah, it's a real disheartener, right, for Turkey, because obviously they had their chance. They had that Uberad last push literally at the start of last round, but when you fumble one like that, you're thinking, well, if everything goes right, then you're still having problems. And again, maybe that's their best chance if they can get some quick mid fights, but Yorn might be going for the play.
Surely they spotted him. I mean, they had a demo man, Demir, literally stood there, and all he could do was watch people. So they should kind of know this timing of the soldier coming in. But they rotate round, so this does kind of soften the soldier flank a little bit when people go behind. But now it puts them in the position of, like, you can't leave if you screw up. And already they're starting to screw up. WT has gone down, and actually they do find Albert. That's a scout pick. That's pretty nice, and they're actually solidifying their players that are actually low as well. This is these players might come back at this rate. Nobody wants to get aggressive.
PWT is getting a bit of a spawn advantage as well from going down earlier, meaning that the rotations are just
they're
continuing.
Capping the point.
Yeah, the point pressure on a mid-fight.
They've used the Uber charge. They've actually lost Demir on the demo man, and yeah, with these, I don't know what direction is winning it. I mean, oh god, this is topsy-turvy. With them rotating around, it looks like Turkey are going back, but they were already back. They're actually going forward, but then they go back from their forward. Oh, it's very confusing. And the scout chariot has turned up and it's arrived and it's running over the poor Swedes. And I think all that aggressive Ubering might have even confused poor Boulder, because I mean, if you switch sides enough on that mid and then you Uber in and do an Uber exchange, where is the safe ground?
Yeah, it's an absolute carnage, and especially getting the demo in that Uber, I really thought things were turning in the Swedish favour, but they're still in brawl mode at the moment as they get their spawners in, catching out
This medic's caught out.
And then, no, the medic.
Oh my god, he thread the needle. He found the spot. Very nice from TF2L there. And okay, so they're on the back foot. They're four people bunched up in the same area, though. They're kind of wasting time on this midpoint. They finally decide to leave this mid ground, and fortunately the medic made that decision 2 seconds earlier than everybody else.
Yeah, just about, as the flank got completely crushed there from the Turkish side, but they're going to back out and, like you say, get a hold up on second, but not exactly where you want to be. They were just on the opponent's second, capping the point moments ago, and things are just flipping around in an absolute flash. PWT caught out on the flank as the pressure comes in, and the pressure is mounting over on this Turkish defence.
Yeah, they were just going for some sort of plain kind of slow push from grass. I don't know what the hopes and dreams were there. It's not like they had the advantage. They should have waited for their flank. Their flank was clearly in, playmaking mode. So even when they made a play, they couldn't really follow up with something because they were already pushing in over on the rest of Team Sweden.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, 6 minutes left. And on your own second point, this is where it gets super hard, right? Because you get this is the sort of time of the game now, right? You've got to make a play where you can't just sit and wait for the round reset. So if you want to be really awful as we decide, you can just chill.
You can do worse than chill.
Yeah, you can do worse.
You can get the engineer out. You can get the heavy weapons guy out. You can treat it like a real Insomnia final. The flank. This time it's gone the other way. It's a different timeline. PWT manages to survive, and now this may open up things. And yeah, they're getting proactive. I like it.
Yeah, on the demo as well, before the Ubercharge is used off, Ubercharge finally popped out from the Turkish side as they're trying to run Pandemic over the top of the point, but Ubercharge is still firmly in the hands of Gar, who uses so much later, at the cost of 2 players.
They need to hold the ground here. Yeah, there we go. So they're holding the height. They know that 2 scouts can't run into this many players. It's just way too much, and the scouts are doing a good job of light focus firing. They just need to dodge all these sort of soldiers' aggression. Yorn hasn't found the rockets to kind of do enough decimating damage to kind of stare off this Turkey team. They have hopes in their hearts still. They need to cap the midpoint, however, and deny all those forwards. Grix is going to get it, but I don't think Alba and Yorn are.
Yeah, really nice decision making there. Like you say, they had to just stay in despite seeing shiny players in front of them. They couldn't fear, and they didn't. They just held the high ground and are going to win mid and the second point as a result of that. 5 minutes to play, 2 rounds to find. Still time in this game for Turkey to make their way back, but last time we were in this situation, it did not go their way. They spent so long hammering their head into the last point and just didn't get the results they needed. So it's going to have to be quicker this time.
Oh, Pandemic. I don't know what he was trying to fish for as a scout at that sort of number 3 door, but I mean, doing something. Maybe a sniper respawn. Yeah. I do have a kind of a little bit of a grievance with these soldiers on Turkey. They were kind of capping second. Second was basically given away for free. Why not get proactive on Soldier? Find these picks earlier. Push forward ahead of your team. Spam the sentry gun. Not just sit back and enjoy the picnic with the rest of your team.
Yeah, especially the gun as well, and is the biggest of those, right? Is because the gun at level 1 is so easy to spam. It does basically no damage. It has basically no health, and it's also not in the position where it's watching everything. So you can get some free kills over that way. But Yellen going to be the one running back to the spawn this time. Going to be using Pandemic's Demise to come up on the sniper. Had won the SBS last time, but ended up sort of getting stuck on Sniper awkwardly in that trade at the end, so wasn't exactly ideal. But when there's a time running like this, there's 4 minutes left, 2 rounds to find. This Sniper pick has to come in soon.
I do agree with you, and it does take a bit of time as well. So, but it's so hard. Boulder has been extremely proactive with checking these classes. So maybe these sorts of like quick strategies of like blocking a spy or maybe any other sorts of off classes are just way too telegraphed to the boys. At least Sniper, even when you're found out, you still have impact.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the another kill there coming through from Boulder over onto Demi the Demoman over on the Turkish side means that things are going to have to slow down even more while they wait for this respawner to come in. 3 minutes and 20 seconds left, and make no mistake, there's 2 rounds to find. 1 is not enough. This first round has to be coming in the next push, right? There has to be push in, get something, get a favourable trade, get a kill on the medic, whatever it may be. But time ticks down, and Swedes, they're holding on.
Yarlin, you're going to have to put your cape on, buddy. You know, start reading some action comics. Turn into a bit more of a hero on this Sniper, because these little kind of soft peaks, they ain't going to cut it. I think you have to start digging deep, you know, going for those superhero shots.
Again! Oh, Boulder finding the demo once more. That's an exact repeat of last time, and I think we're now getting almost into the realms of impossibility, right? I said that the push had to come through there, and then it had to be a peak and a kill instantly. And or some kind of impact, but losing your demo again, gonna delay this push by another 30 seconds at least, and yeah, dare I say, we're not far off garbage time at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there's still time just because of that last. It just looks a lot less than it needs to be. I mean, obviously, the next round gets harder with every ticking second, so really, I would say you just need to start going a bit hero mode. It's not like Gar is in the worst place to kind of go hero mode Sniper as well, either.
Yeah, it's maybe catchable from some of these angles, but they decided to go for the trade instead. There's a scout there rebounding his head off the top of the ceiling. Gar gonna use so much later. The demo caught in Yawn, bombing through as well. Just gonna get out alive, I think. No, never mind, taken down in 3 and only 2 survivors. Just the Sniper, just the medic, and we say we might be into garbage time. I think we are certainly into it now. Caught out on the way out through choke. Only 2 forward spawners coming in, and this is GG on process.
Yeah, it's going to feel like the longest GG of your life because we've still got a minute left, and but in the meantime, we can sift through the ashes a bit early before the core post-mortem of this map. And I still just keep leaning back to that idea of like, if you had the Sniper kind of going earlier, at least when they made that final Huzzah push, they could have switched off their Sniper respawning if he failed to a scout. But no, Yarlin was just not feeling it. Oh wait, Yarlin was playing Soldier, wasn't he? So, but still though, you know, Soldier class going in for that last Huzzah push, because when they pushed in, they lost Pandemic immediately from that Uber, and the Sniper isn't going to do much during all that chaos, not realistically anyways.
Yeah, especially like when you know that when you get to that sort of time of the game, you're basically going to be running in and looking to take a trade, right? That's the one option you have, is make a trade, get the gun, rotate around, and then just basically try and play for the better post fight. And with a Sniper, that's really not going to use that. The Sniper will get caught out in those rotations. They'll get bombs, they'll get run down by a scout. Something bad will happen to the Sniper. But yeah, we'll set these final few moments, maybe some heroics in the second point, but it doesn't look like it's going to be. Hugely running on to last. Grix and Boulder in tow shortly. A couple of spawners might be here just to delay this one slightly. 20 seconds left. Never mind, it's a nuke towards the spawn door. 2-0 becomes 3-0 as the heroics on the Turkish side aren't quite enough to stop Sweden from getting their third. And a win over on the first map of Process.
Yeah, count with me, Twitch chat. There's about 5 seconds left. If you can count perfectly, it should be 3, 2, 1. It's over. All right. So that was Sweden versus Turkey of map 1. I won't lie, it's not looking fantastic, but it's not looking too bad either for Turkey, is it, Ben?
No, absolutely not. And like, obviously, the score of 3-0, I don't think tells the whole story, right? Like, there was good opportunities from the Turkish side. I just think, at least at this level of TF2, that when you have those opportunities outside your opponent's last point, like they had that coast to coast, they sat and had the round reset, and even at the end they were outside the Swedish last point for almost 3 minutes. Like, you have to be able to make something work in those positions, be it a soldier sack, some off class, some trade play. Like there's got to be something in the locker that you can pull out in those positions, but it just didn't seem there. And it's all well and good getting to that position because of good play in the rest of the team. Like their mid fights were good, their transitions through like the second points into mid and the mid into second were also good. It just, they just didn't have the rabbit to pull out the hat when they needed it.
All right, so we've got the logs now. My footnotes basically for this game is Albert played amazing. I don't think the logs really support that, but I just want to echo that again. Just like little moments that were really impressive that you don't really see too often, just kind of like capitalizing at what felt like perfect timing. I'm not sure if he just accidentally did it or if he's just the man with the brain. But the demo man had a really tough time this game between getting sniped and getting picked off and just kind of maybe caught out in these sort of Uber fights. And Boulder's still bouldering. I mean,
Yeah, Boulder, yeah, but we all seen Boulder, yeah.
He just seems like an autocomplete at this point. The Ubers were a lot more desperate and difficult from Turkey because it just felt like they had to kind of like knuckle down to the situation they were in a lot more compared to Sweden, who got to play their game. And Sweden had a really strong last hold, or maybe Turkey had a really weak last push.
Yeah, the logs obviously showing that. And you said at the start of that, you said that Alba, like the logs don't really show like that. That like obviously was a standout.
Okay, well he's got a good kill to death ratio, but
I'm not even talking about that. The damage taken per minute of 125 on a scout. Like no one was looking at Alba the entire game. Like you said before, that the timings were perfect, and literally you'd see like obviously we can see like in the X-rays you just see Alba just run behind. No one's looking at all. Gets a free kill and runs out, or gets some damage, draws distraction, but gets away before taking too much damage or dying. And that's what you want for a flank scout, right? Is you just want to have that the game sense and the timing to make plays like that work. And like you said, I think particularly around the first like 10 minutes of the game, like they really threw the Turkish side off and helped them get that early lead.
Yeah. I think it was just because I see a game with Boulder in it, and I'm like, oh dear lord, this is like the man you have to compare yourself to. Yeah, on process, you're like, sweet mercy. I feel for poor Albert, but he was honestly like really, really impressive. And that's why I'm kind of glazing him so hard. And Boulder's the ignored child, like, yeah, A+ student, we'll get to you.
Yeah. Well, we can look forward, because obviously process. We've said many times, if you want a map where a scout can go and farm, probably up there on the top of your list. But we're moving on to Gully Wash for map number 2, which I'd honestly say arguably one of the lower ones down on the list in terms of where your scouts can have pop-up potential. But that's where we're going next, so maybe this is what Turkey need to get themselves back in this series.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying of a map for a scout to deal with, just because there is dedicated parts of mid where the soldiers can hide. They're just gone for, out of sight, out of mind for half a second. At least on like process, you can see the soldiers. You can see them doing these double jumps off the plateaus. But once they kind of go underneath the point over on mid, it's like a spider that gets away from you. You're like, oh Christ, I took my eyes off it for 1 second and now he's up drop down.
Yeah, it can be quite terrifying, right? And especially with all these like narrow choke points, little corners that you can hide into, as well as you can really have use the destructive powers of those rocket launchers. So yeah, I'm gonna have my eyes on the, of course, the soldier combos from both sides, because we saw some good moments out from Yellen and PWT, but I think a map like Gully Wash is really where you can shine as a soldier player, particularly in these mid fights. You can really go for so much. But yeah, I'll be looking to see what they go for, right? Because obviously, map down in the series, I think mathematically, are Sweden guaranteed top spot in the group already? I'm not quite sure.
Whoa! I've not looked at any league tables. I'm just here to look at this TF2, analyze bit by bit, because I think both of these teams are going to make it into some sort of playoff bracket in some sense. I don't doubt that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think they're playing for seeding regardless.
Yeah, so I think this could almost be seen as like a little soft scrim for these two teams. Not all the marbles are on the line, but it's good kind of test for both of these two teams. I am very interested to see how these Demomen react with the soldiers going fast on Gully Wash, because you can do those shenanigans where you go really, really fast as Aroma against these Demomen. And if the Demomen are not like up to snuff, or at least used to these sort of, weird situations that maybe these more experienced Demomen are used to, it could be really annoying. It really sucks to just lose the mid instantaneously at the start of the mid because you go down in the first second.
Yeah, there's those like speed shot bombs you can do through big door, and to be fair, like the scouts can also go for crazy things onto your demo, right? It's one of those mids where you can really coordinate pressure and just think, right, we just want to focus on deleting that one player at the start of the mid. But again, if that's dealt with well, then yeah, you get these more slow-paced ones. But we'll see. We'll see what Turkey have to offer for us, and we'll see whether they can come back, or if Sweden will be taking this one clean. We're over to Gully Wash.
All right, if you're just joining us, it's TurboTabs, it's Ben, it's Samus, all your merry production crew from Essentials TF is covering still this wonderful game of Turkey versus Sweden. Can Sweden close it out, or will Turkey get some revenge? And starting out with a double soldier coordination bomb, and they are doing lovely damage over on Sweden against Turkey, and Turkey do have some slight bite back, but not enough compared to that starting gun of Sweden. Oh,
yeah,
they're even
really
shutting off the
damage.
big door.
They're in trouble. They're in big trouble. If Boulder wants to go forward, maybe, or they're just about out in time, aren't they? Boulder took one rocket there thinking about going through the shutter, but is going to be forced back. It's going to be sat just building on the second point. But what a mid. The explosion of damage over on that platform on the red side. Like, Turkey took so much damage at the start of that mid from the soldiers, from the demo. I think there was a scout running across the point too. It was really well coordinated there from Sweden, and yeah, they reaped the rewards of it. Got a free mid-point, free second point as well, and even Ubers. We'll see what they have to offer.
Yeah, the difference in the sort of top teams is when they do lose a mid in that sort of fashion, they usually keep their medic alive and get them out pretty cleanly as well. So they do have some good opportunities to still come back in this game, just with TF2L still being alive. They've got a scout in water. They should be aware of this. They even got PWT hanging about on the rim of the ring, but you might see some sort of aggression coming out from Sweden to knock him off that perch. If yeah, you just see the odd scout just peppering him from main.
And Alba is going on the point as well, going to get quite a... Ooh, PWT took a lot of damage there. If PWT goes down, maybe there's a chance for the cap to sneak through.
Oh, Alba!
Alba!
He's ×2. Nobody's addressed it. That's a lot. Actually, I think that was bold. I should give them a... Sorry, let me just give the right... you know, congratulations to the right player. Bold kind of manning up there. I think you need more than one soldier in those sort of situations, or PWT needs to kind of say to his team, guys, I'm dying. You need to help me.
Yeah. Well, PWT is one arrow in the midst of that, but it just isn't enough. And yeah, like we said before, we sang the praises of Alba just being where the enemies didn't expect them to be. And again, getting such an important kill early on this mid. On this last point, excuse me, and is able to cap out the point. But we go back to this mid again. Going to be frags flying all over the place, to be quite honest. 4v4, both demo down. Both
Alba coming in from the flank.
Oh, not again.
Oh no, he actually keeps himself alive this time. I guess he didn't want to instantly get minced, but a lot of scouts would have just... Oh my god! Pop him up and let the soldiers spike him down. They take out the Turkish medic, and now they can just play off Gar's heals and just keep the boy alive.
PWT might be finding a kill onto Hugie at the forward spawn node, just going to actually be taken down by a mini crit rocket with a pickaxe out. That was such a nice rocket there at the end of that mid-fight. I think it was from Yorn. Long range direct, straight across the point over onto TF2L, who's decided just to come up on a panic crits, right? Just thinking, can we get a crit heavy up at the end of this Uber? But there might not be time for this, right? Lobby's been taken already. Alba's already on the duty of capping up second point, and this ad is gigantic.
Yeah, they've already got the Pyro as well, protecting that sentry gun. Nice signs. Will give... The Pyro's kind of sticking around, though. Will keep himself alive. Rotator back off. Sticking on Pyro, though. I like it. It's a nice turnaround gameplay. He just needs to kind of start getting in the faces of some of these players. They're instead just going to play with the heavy weapons guy and just treat him like a pseudo second sentry gun and just keep him away, all the rockets away from him. How do you burst a heavy if you've got no projectiles hitting him?
Yeah,
okay,
we're going to have to see the crits come out
scout.
finally over on this side, and Yalin with a couple of nice rockets, Pandemic with a scattergun as well, are going to find a few of these frags on these straggling players over on the Swedish side. Gar and Alba both going to sprint all the way back out, and it's a question of, is this push out going to come through? TF2L is on the crits, so this is going to be a huge advantage for Gar if they can manage to stay alive, and if they can keep hold of the second point. That's massive, and that looks like it's going to be the case. So they basically get the same push, but again,
yeah, the sad affair of the crits is like... Well, actually, I guess it's not really felt, to be honest, on this last point, because you can just rotate off to a medigun once you've used the crits, but, I mean, in all the chaos, you might have just realized, oh, I've got 15% of a crits. I could keep building this, and then the Evil Temptation's been used. They pop an Uber, they've immediately sent Albert into water. He's going to get cleaned up, though, by the bodyguard of the soldier. Boulder's on last, by the way, already, and the only person to address it is the soldier from water, who's tanked from the Albert battle, and it's just, it feels like a repeat of the first round, but in a different sort of flavor.
Yeah, exactly. We're so scared of Alba underneath, right? The soldier goes down, wins the fight against Alba, but it's like you drag the soldier so far deep into water that boulders in the Uber and just thinks, you know what, just take me out of the Uber. I'm just going to stand on the point and have the high ground advantage against that soldier who's going to be running up that little staircase at the back of the point and wins out the fight again. So 2-0, only 5 minutes of game time gone, and these mids have been absolutely massive over on the Swedish side.
No.
And an early bomb onto TF2L is going to be absolutely huge. There's might be even more falling as well. Yorn's in behind. There's players crunching over towards the Swedish combo, and Grix and Albert taken down, and there's a couple of players trying to hold some sort of crossfire. Yalin with the one sole hit point left.
Oh, he even killed himself to
Turkish
deny the
team.
kill.
That's BM.
I mean, there was points where I thought it would have gone absolutely disastrous, especially when TF2L was the first one to go down for his team. And without a medic in the positions they were in as well, they could see they were prioritizing Sweden just getting Gar out. And they did cover a lot of ground and keep them in the choke point, but they managed to just kind of keep calm over on Sweden and just use their buff, kind of play off what little damage they can kind of tickle them with. And then enough tickles, they finally go down at the choke area and get back into the mid.
Yeah, well, we've been here before, haven't we? Kritzkrieg sitting at 70% over on TF2L. Ubercharger coming in straight onto the gun. The Pirates a decent job there defending it, but it's about these scouts on the point. Can they hold it in time?
Yeah, they've got everybody on
this
point
time,
this time.
bombing in with massive damage. Like you say, they've seen this far too many times before. Grix and Hughie, last two up alive versus 3. Crit's still ready to be used, but a kill there over onto Pandemic means this is potentially slightly awkward regarding a push out. The scouts are not there, and the spawners on the Swedish side are.
Yeah, they threw everybody onto that point, and I mean, to give them credit, they did defend it out, but it was a lot of ground covered by the same sort of people. I think fortunately Hughie didn't really commit to the fight. He wanted to just keep himself alive, keep the second point kind of on lockdown. He was spamming the odd pipe, got the pyro. You know, that's like the feel-good victory, I guess, as they're trying to make this push out. They've got 100% crit streak, but it is a crit streak. Let's see if they can get anything out of it, but it's going to be a hard ask. They actually jump in the soldiers already, and the Demo Man, oh my god, he's gone down.
Oh, the big shot there over onto the Demo Man. Big air shot coming in, but the problem with the crits, right, is that if you don't use it in time, the ad just goes, and Gar now has, and the ability to completely mitigate damage is stronger than that of triple damage. The point finally gets capped up, but it's still crits. This is so dangerous for the Turkish side, as they're buffing everyone. TF2L trying to just find the optimum opportunity to use this crits out, but like, is there ever really a good time into a medic like this that's got full Uber?
Yeah, it's going to be hard, and I don't think they're going to make it easy for them by making them pop first over on Sweden. It doesn't look like they want to get proactive with the Uber as well. They want to be reactionary. This is the hardest kind of crits to pull off when it's this telegraphed as well. So get creative over on Turkey. Maybe start bombing some people in, but you know, doing this without feeling the sting, or at least getting the medic too close that he can't get out from this Uber, is another tall order in of itself.
Yeah, this is the thing, is that you look at like this hold that's been currently set up now from Turkey, right, with the Demo kind of passive towards the choke area with the soldier up above. This is like not exactly what you're looking for in a standard gully or second hold. The medic obviously having to sit all the way up in river, and the bomb's coming in over onto Grix, who is the first one to fall. So actually, maybe they do hold on, but basically my point is that you normally want the medic close there with the Demo, right? You want the medic at least in a position to be able to buff players.
Oh, they're going from big door.
All right.
They're rotating around, they take the long view, they see Gar, they shoot a sticky, it's just so far away. You need a really supercharged, super sticky to get to that man, and even then, I'm not sure if you can even get the full damage to clip onto him, and yeah, the crits is a dud, I'm afraid, and setting up that big door play, they lost all position at big door. Oh, sorry, on second, I should say.
Good attempt at a force there from Yalin, but not going to be, and that's just going to be one less soldier.
Oh, the trap!
For
the trap! Oh my god, he didn't use it! Oh no, he uses the Uber finally over on Team Sweden. They're in on last, and they have got a heavy weapons guy that's going to be annoying, but with no Demo Man now, this last point could be too tantalizing and difficult to hold on to. Yalin comes back from the spawn, gets a nice sort of bomb onto those aggressive players onto point. Grix is going to give him another reason to turn around. Hughie doesn't really find the point, but he does find a kill.
Very nice hold, but I do feel like, again, we've been here before, right? The second point is going to get pushed out.
Oh,
not
Chris
going
is
to deny
back, yeah.
not going to deny any forward spawns, but they were on the crits, and at this point, right, I get the point of the crits, right? The idea is that you can just survive long enough, and then in the post-Uber, you stick it on a heavy, on a Demo, on a soldier, on a whatever, and destroy everyone, right? But in the last 2 pushes, they just haven't needed to use the crits at the end. So now they just sort of get the worst of both, right? They don't use the crits in the last fight, but also they don't have a regular Uber ready for this situation where it would. Let it be known, this would be ad for the Turkish side had they just built regular Uber.
Oh, they do get the crits rocket onto Gar. Picture perfect from Yarlin. Where are the crits haters now? I mean, Turkey only did die, but like, ignore that fact. Like, they did get the ball rolling with the crits, but in this sort of aggressive stance, it costs a lot more to spend rockets going forward than it is to press S and walk backwards. So they didn't really have enough health for the post fight, and it worked out, even though Alba was playing sniper there.
Yeah, like, again, it's the disadvantage, right? You're walking through a choke point like that, and yes, they do get the crits away onto that soldier, and it is a nice rocket there over onto Gar, and it means that it's going to be even Ubers for the last point, but like, not having that invulnerability window to flash through a choke point and get everyone through at full health means that in that post fight, your medic's gone down to the bombs, there's players all over the place, there's players in the flank, there's someone coming up drop down, there's all this sort of scrappy fight. It's all about the health you've got left, right, and the positioning, and for Turkey it just wasn't there, and Sweden really well dealt with there, particularly in the panic, right? Obviously the panic, they've crits on a soldier completely unexpectedly, your medic's gone down, but just to have that level head and able to get themselves in a solid situation. Alba still on sniper, deciding to roll out over onto the second point. Going to try and use this in onto the last point as we were both built up on either side now. No rush, like we said, for Sweden as they get themselves prepped up with their sniper and see where Alba's going to be peeking from.
Playing very disciplined over on Team Sweden. They actually held outside just because of what could have been some slight advantage to Turkey. I mean, why hold inside unless you have all your ducks in a row? Maybe this is like the Boulder player of the season effect, because I heard he is the mastermind for Mandem, and he's probably keeping everybody under strict TF2 fundamentals.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Boulder is going to be the one this time with the turn to go underneath into water. There is a soldier bombing back over to PBT who's taking a lot of damage.
He shoots himself twice, and now they've got a scout on point. The sentry gun does narrowly thread the needle, kills the scout, doesn't kill the soldier though, and that's a point given up. And yeah, I just don't think they prioritize enough people to kind of rotate from PWT when things go awry.
The last 3 pushes, I know obviously it's going to be the case with a lot of Gully Rush last pushes, right? But like the last 3 pushes have all been absolutely like just sealed by the fact that a scout just gets in through water and wins that fight on the point with that solo soldier that's watching it. Something has to change on this Turkish side and these defenses because they've lost 3 rounds to variations of the same players. We get into a mid-fight which also haven't been going ideal for Turkey so far. Turkey only going down. Not the greatest start possible, but there's a lot of players fighting towards enemy big door as PWT walking onto Gar, salvages the frag on the medic. Okay, maybe there is still a bite left in this Turkish side as they back all the way back out. Grix traded out. Oh dear.
That's that Gully Wash magic happening there. I mean, he did do it against 2 soldiers, so it hurts the world, hurts the soul, but yeah, just go around that corner, shoot ground, get kills, and it was multiple for the Grix lad, and it was very nice that Sweden obviously got TF2L on the mid there, because they did force out Gar, Albert, and Boulder to that big door area by losing Hugi down so early in the mid fight. But I mean, a blessing in disguise maybe. He might have been more committed in if his demo man didn't go down.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see what the metal is now because TF2L went down so early that there is an advantage. Gar, obviously we saw get caught out by those nice couple of rockets there from PWT over in elbow, meaning that there is about a 30% advantage. Will Turkey decide to go on this? It looks like they're set up around choke, but this advantage is dwindling by the second, and I'm not too sure they're that keen on it.
No, it doesn't look like it. So I feel like their stalemates on Turkey have not been fantastic. They're not really fantastic with coming up with ideas or clever little ways to break the board that they have set up over on Sweden. Speaking of breaking the board, they actually... Oh, there we go. They get an exchange. Demir has spent all of his ammo, though. And they've exchanged Ubers. Fortunately, Boulder decides to back out instead of keeping it like a traditional Boulder Uber. I think if they held their ground there and got all their troops in, I think they might have had a case to have a good fight going, but maybe just play it safe because those respawns from Turkey were coming back up.
Yeah, well, it's an Urus situation right there. You just think, you know what, we'll just back out, we'll take the situation again, and still even Ubers, still even players on either side, and yeah, Sweden just getting cozy, right? They're getting comfortable. Half the game gone. They've been in complete control on this map. It's a completely different story. It's the previous one, and Yorn is the one going around onto the flank this time. PWT sent back on duty to deal with, but Alba has also managed to sneak in through Baby Door. So PWT 1v2 up in top lobby. He's maybe got some people on speed dial to come up and help, but this is an important fight.
Has he got speed dial players? I don't see anybody in the speed dial zone. They're going to take a while to get to it. There we go.
Pandemic's the winger.
Oh my god, they've actually taken the fight against Demir during all this. Speed dial that scout back. Get him back to the fight. Boulder still fishing. Oh, they get the kill on that pesky scout inside now, and they does mean it unlocks the second phase, which is Yorn in this lobby area, and I think they lost track of him. He's hiding in lower.
Yeah, just going to be hiding out behind, but that means in front is the temporary 6v4 as Grig's taking the fight on the low ground. The Uber charge used out, trade comes in from either side. I mean, this could get quite messy. Lots of flashing around here on the Turkish side, meaning he's going to fade roughly the same time, and it's about who gets the damage done in this post fight. There's a soldier with Yalin. Nice arrow there to keep that soldier alive. Pandemic caught out on the point as players dropping all over the place over on Turkey, and yeah, and again, these post-Uber situations, they just get caught out completely. They might be getting caught out even more. Nice rocket from Griggs, denies the doorway. What a rocket.
This is fantastic in-game decisions coming out from whoever's calling for Team Sweden. As just taking the Uber fight there, it allows you, your player from behind to actually do what feels like a bit more work. His distraction is obviously a lot more felt in the chaos of all this Uber pushing and accelerating. He's got that forward respawn for his teams to come back. They hold onto the high ground as well, importantly, during all the chaos. They're just farming kills at this point. They're just showing that they don't even need to sneak the point. They can just, you know, sneak their lives.
Yeah, it's an impossible situation there from Turkey. They're all spawning up. The second's already capped. There's a demo watching one door, two soldiers on the other. The scouts obviously intermingled between. There was no hope of them getting out of that door, and 4-0 down. Is there no hope of them getting back? Well, I guess mathematically it is possible, but it's going to need a big turnaround, and it's going to start off with a big mid. Surely, Sweden have had these mids on lock so far.
All right, two soldiers straight for that demo man, and Hughie is out. He is tired of getting him bombed at this mid, so it will leave a couple of his supporting cast kind of out in the crowd, but now hopefully they kind of play off all of these players because it's heals versus not heals. Let's see who wins. One demo man left against two scouts. This is the worst kind of DM server to be in.
Yeah, again, nice work though from Yalin, just going for that salvage, isolates Gar and gets that frag, but like, at the end of the day, that's all it is. It's only a salvage. The mid still goes the way of Sweden. And I was the question, have Turkey held the midpoint yet in this map?
I don't think so.
I don't think they have, right? They've been like pushing into mid, but I don't think they've ever actually capped it.
If they have, it's been for like mere seconds, and it's been just capped back again. But I think you're right. They don't think they've captured the mid at all. Kritzkrieg, we're really just having fun over on Sweden now, aren't we?
Yeah, well, you normally get a bit of an advantage from popping onto the crits, right? 25% faster build rate, but because Gar died so late on that mid, I'm not sure how much ad this is really going to come out to be, if any at all. So
maybe
it's going to be a rude awakening.
Expecting a quick push, a dot push out from Turkey, because they should know that they have a bit of an advantage, I guess in theory, because of these metaguns, but they're actually taking so much time, and they're not even letting them in onto this midpoint, so they're kind of gorging them to kind of push out. They use the crit sticky to give them a surprise. They lose one demo man. You know, not the best, not the worst, and they do kind of crunch that flank that was kind of left waiting in on the side, and yeah, this is now looking very possible for okay, nope, never mind.
Yeah, the post fights again from Sweden are just so good. They're just so good. They bait out of choke, just wait out the Uber charge. They go 1-4 on the flank, and then they recollapse in, take the intelligent fights across the point, and again, Boulder just running absolute rampage in this lobby. Everyone's charging forward. The demo has gone down. Second has only just started to be capped. And
Griggs even gets a kill on the tuna. Pandemic does clean in more power, but yeah, maybe playing with their food ever so slightly. Okay, there's a scout just running in, Wing in, pastoring onto your medic, but he's not eating it. He is going to keep himself alive, and a Kritzkrieg still on the cards for this squad, and this is going to be like a fireworks show for their complete victory, I think.
Yeah, well, it's hard to push into the last with the Kritzkrieg, especially because you can't get through these doors quite so easily without the mobility. Christie isn't the point? Is that the player?
They killed two.
Alba in behind. Alba's going to win this fight again against PWT and wins it out.
Nobody's watching the point. The one rocket there was enough to kill him and gets other people onto the point. Easy for Hughie to get some Demoman spam onto those players, and now everybody's having a high five on this last point because it's 5 points to 0.
Great plays, great play all round, and yeah, even pushing in, I've got to say, like, it was obviously a player advantage, right, with that crits in, but crits into last, like, in those sort of situations, is not necessarily a freebie, but they're so clean, right? They're so well coordinated. Alba, again, just, like, underneath water, like, just wins out all the fights. And, yeah, the coordination, again, with the combo coming in through River, just distracting the attention of the Turks one way, then the other way, and then back, and just there was never a good opportunity back into those fights. And 5-0, what a turnaround. That was worlds apart from map 1.
Yeah, I think they were a bit insulted that we said, like, Turkey's got something going for them. Yeah, I think they're like a worthy opponent. They took a major offense to that because this was a deconstruction, it felt like. And it wasn't those kind of deconstructions like, okay, they're just out DMing them and all this. You had these sort of exchanges, these choices, and it felt like they were picking the most correct answer I could even think of, or even answers I didn't think of in some of these exchanges. And there were varied exchanges as well. It wasn't just the mid onto last, mid onto last, mid onto last. There was some back and forth here. The main enemy of Turkey, though, I think was this Kritzkrieg. It was just a bad stench that they couldn't get rid of.
Yeah, especially for those first few rounds, right? Like, obviously, when you come into the game, it starts off 0-0. Obviously, by the time it's 4-0, obviously there's crazy things happening. But at the start of the thing, you want to put your best foot forward, and they get stuck on that crit screen multiple times, pushing out onto their own second, where they would have had pushing onto their own mid had they gone up with Uber. And to be honest, it is partially bad fortune, right? There is, of course, logic to go in the crits at the last point, and you obviously see it happen. It works very, very well. Teams in Prem do it, and they get good value out of it, particularly on Gully Wash. But in these situations where, like, your defense goes that well anyway, that you just didn't need the crits, like, it's a really awkward situation, because then you're trying to force it in with the crits, and it just gets more and more dangerous in those situations where they did that, and then they just got rolled back to their own last and lost.
Yeah. Okay, I'm looking at the logs, and if you're a demo man, please look away, because it's a bit of a horror show if you're over on Turkey.
Oh, no.
Poor Demir, usually demo man king of the hill when it comes to these sort of logs and farming the logs, and hell, the man even had a Kritzkrieg every now and then to kind of, push the numbers a bit more. But Yarlin, I think, found more success with the crits than his poor demo man brethren. He's actually took it down all the way at the bottom. And yeah, Boulder kind of putting on a case like, is it a soldier map? I didn't know.
Yeah, 350 DPM on a scout and go. This is true 5.0 logs, right? Like, crazy stuff from Boulder. Yeah, the fun fact is that Turkey LA actually did more charges with the crits than the regular Medigun in that game, 4-3. So again, it's just odd things happening over on that side. There's some moments of bad fortune too, but, like, again, obviously 5-0, they can happen just from genuine like class differences. But I want to echo your point you made earlier of, like, the main calls on Sweden are seriously good. Like, their decision making moment to moment, and their team coordination is definitely on point. And they were catching out in so many situations. Like, you saw,
yes, correct.
When they were rushing big dog, catching people out, retreating, their coordinations into the last were phenomenal.
Yeah, it does feel good when I feel caught out by the decisions, or at least how quickly they get to that. Because I'm busy looking at, like, Turkey Ellie, like, get out, Turkey Ellie! Oh no, they're already there.
And we have X-ray.
Yeah, exactly. So it goes to show that it's very nice timing. It's a nice breath of fresh air, to be honest. And maybe I just haven't seen Gully Wash kind of exploited at the speed it can be played at for a while.
Yeah, no, it was a really, really great player from them, and they're going to be going through as the number 1 seeds. I've just had a look at the group, and Turkey do go through by, I believe, at least 1 point clear of Austria, because Austria still have to play Ukraine, and honestly, probably going to be a 6-0 to Austria, that one. But even if it is, that still puts Turkey at 1 point ahead. I think they'd be on 11 versus Austria's 10 in that situation. So they're through to the next round, and I don't know. I'm not sure the format's exactly decided for how many from each group go through, but it's definitely at least the top 2. So we're going to be seeing more.
I mean, fortunately, over on Turkey, you can only grow from this point. You know, you win, you learn more from losses than you do wins, and they are not out of it just yet. So a couple more squins and just kind of ironing out the kinks. Who knows? They do have the recipes, like the ingredients are here for some sort of kind of upsets or kind of a streak run in this Nations Cup with, you know, Pandemic, Yarlin, and these other players that I think have hold their own in these sort of situations. But fighting off against Sweden this early feels like a mandatory boss loss, you know, in a video game.
Yeah, but they played against, they beat the Austrian team, which is like that's a pretty strong roster, right? There's Prem players over there. There's plenty of like decent Div 1 players in that team, and they won it 4-2, and that might just be the one that gets them through into these playoffs. But in the playoffs, obviously, it's gonna be a big knockout bracket. It's gonna be one of those where you just need a couple of good results to go on a big run, and that's what Turkey are hoping for. But I think Sweden, they might be having their eyes set on the prize a bit further ahead. I think they might have some pretty high expectations going into the playoffs, and on a performance like that, why not?
All right, Ben. That was our game of Sweden versus Turkey. That was round 3 of a Nations Cup, kindly provided by ETF2L in this sort of 6v6 wonderful gameplay. We still, of course, have more Nations Cup coming up. You'll have to tune into, you know, the right socials over on essentials.tf. I'm sure you'll be able to find them if you just punch them into your favorite social site and find all their content there, or what they're going to be making content in the future. Certainly it's going to be more Nations Cup. There's going to be even more fun surprises. I think we have a nice French tournament happening at the weekend where they've got a bunch of mixed teams together. That's going to be fun. I think I'm going to see you there as well. And yeah, you'll even see your favorite production member, Samus, there doing some work on top of that. Finally, if you have anything else that you want to kind of view, we've also been uploading VODs like crazy over on the YouTube channel, so do give that a watch.
Also, thanks to Samus, has been hard at work.
Oh yeah, an endless grind. You wouldn't believe it. I guarantee you right now, there's 6 months of content VODs to come out. So yeah, we are treating you here. But otherwise, I've been Totas. With me has been Ben PL. Ben, any last minute words before I close out this stream?
No, it's been good. This might be the last group game I think we're doing for Nations Cup.
Okay.
Fingers crossed. Potentially, we've also got TF2 this weekend, and then I think we mentioned the playoffs for Nations Cup. I think that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week. Like, I think there's going to do the entire thing in 3 days, so that could be a crazy weekend next weekend. So I'm sure there's going to be plenty of stuff going on in Essentials there. So do come and jump by. But yeah, that's it for me, and I think we can sign off.
All right, and with that, I'm signing off. Bye bye now.